Your eye. This is your left eye, this is your right eye.
Okay.
And then here is the side. This is where the tumor has been operated on. Okay. So this is the top of the head, and this all looks fine. And as we come down over here, this is the area where we've been focusing on. And there is some whiteness at the edge, and this is where the tumor has been removed from. And these areas of whiteness most likely represent some of the residual tumor. Okay, and then this is the area where the surgery's been done. So this area is what we call the cavity. It's where the tumor's been removed from.
And this is a big cavity.
Mark, when you say most likely, does that mean that some of it may be just other swelling and some of it might be residue?
Sometimes it can be inflammation and healing tissue. These areas are a little bit more suspicious because they're not in keeping with the rest. So these bits look quite different, but this along this edge, you can have inflamed tissue that may not necessarily just be tumor-related enhancement, but these two areas I'm quite sure are.
Okay. And when you do the radiation with
we'll
the
cover
ray,
all of this.
it will be pointing at those.
Exactly. So the area that I treat with the radiation is all of this area. That's all showing up, and then we have a margin on this this area where we are concerned that there may be microscopic seeds that we can't see. Okay.
So you widen
so it's
it up.
this with a margin. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll show you, here's the scan that shows the swelling a little bit better. So now you can see, here's your eye again. So this is the cavity, this bright white, and then this kind of slightly more grey white. That's the area where it's inflamed in the brain. So this is normal brain mixed in with possible residual tumour cells, and that's why it's all inflamed and irritated.
Can you know how long has been there?
We can't be sure, but these things tend to grow quite fast. And so your story of being fine and then all of a sudden not fine is quite common in that they tend to come about quite quickly.
It's so big.
So not long though, probably only months.
Months?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And the cavity is gonna fill up of the brain again?
This will slowly change over time and sort of change shape and fill up.
My brain can grow and be smarter?
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
And how are you positive of removing the residual?
So we will chase all of this with the ray treatment, and I am positive that we can get what we need to do in this area. So the radiotherapy full dose with the chemotherapy, okay, and then we have to keep our fingers crossed from there.